Welcome to the show, guys. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. We are talking about count them, six wide receivers we love on this show. Got a special guest here, Danny from Morning Blitz, who is the king of newsletters. They've got an amazing sports newsletter. I'll let him explain a little bit more about what he does. Welcome to the show, Danny.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be in the presence of the king of fantasy football.
Thanks for that. I'm humble. I try to stay humble. I've never been called the king, but I'll take it, like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, no, I've been following your page for a while, and you got some great fantasy advice, so it's a pleasure to be on the show. I'm an avid fantasy football player myself, and excited to chop it up about some wideouts that we love.
I'm excited to dive into this. Wide receivers is that position I believe you could wait on this year. A lot of people going heavy wide receiver early, but then they're ending up with running backs like a J.K. Dobbins, Miles Sanders, people like that, like a Cam Akers, which I don't trust this year. So I'm all about getting that value at wide receiver. So we got some value wide receivers as part of the six guys that we love. But also, if you want to mix in that ace wide receiver as part of a robust RB strategy, you can do that this year as well and get the 16-round draft solution. So make sure you guys secure the solution, secure the championship, where we lay out everything for you. Optimal players drafted each round. This is the game changer, guys. Make sure you get it. Use code SMASH to save. I've linked it below. So can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? You got this amazing newsletter. You got tens of thousands of subscribers. They wake up every morning to get this newsletter in their email. What is it? And what does it give you? And how do they find it? Like, can you give me details about this newsletter? Because I want it. I don't think I'm even subscribed yet.
We got to get you on there. You'll become a smarter sports fan. That's kind of our tagline. So we help people every day wake up with what happened in the world of sports the day before, delivered right to their email inbox. It's a quick, concise 5-minute read, bullet points, bolded words. I'm dyslexic, so I hate reading. So I started the product 4 years ago on the basis of kind of just getting this small, compact newsletter of everything sports. So we call it Sports Center in an email. Been running for 4 years now. And as you said, our subscriber number is growing and we have a very, very engaged audience. We love it. So the newsletter is our main product. Everyone go subscribe. It comes out every weekday morning at 5:30 a.m. And it's on torchpro.com, which is our overall company that kind of powers our engine and our overall sports media network. But yeah, go check it out. Torchpro.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. We have a fun Instagram page as well. We post different sports highlights that have gotten lost in the world of media that we like to resurface. So on Instagram, we're morning_blitz. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Go subscribe to it all. We do a lot of fun stuff. I also have my own podcast, and I had one of the guests that I think one of the names we'll be talking about today. So yeah, it's been fun, man. Growing a sports media company. I know it resonates well with you, and I've had a ton of fun doing it. So everyone go check it out.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into that. And I like to get that in the morning. Some people on their commute or before they go to work. I mean, the old days of the newspaper is done where they used to throw it at your door and, those days are done. So in with the future.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's dive into this. We're talking about six fantasy football wide receivers that we love. I'll let you go first since you're the guest here on the show. Who's a wide receiver that's jumping out at you, when you're looking at your rankings, looking at someone you really are getting excited about drafting this year? Who's kind of jumping out at you first player?
Yeah, and this isn't too original because I know it's been on your show before, and I've seen the girl you partner with, the Gwen. That's right. I've seen her chat about this guy actually yesterday, but I'm gonna go with Calvin Ridley, the guy who was suspended last year for gambling. What a shame that was. But Calvin Ridley, he's down with the Jaguars now in Jacksonville, and he's got a superstar rising quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. So I love Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to be healthy. He's going to have fresh legs. He was an absolute superstar the year before he got suspended, and I don't think he's going to let off the gas. So I love Calvin Ridley. I even love him. I know he's ranked in the 20s right now, low 20s, and
Sheeps are sleeping on him. They're sleeping on him.
So I love him as if he's my wide receiver one, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'd be happy because you get a ton of depth later, and you get this guy around 3 to 4. Actually, I don't know if I told a lot of people. I'm trying to tell people I did this draft in April. It's a big money league draft, and I ended up getting him in the 7th round. Now his ADP shot up ever since that video of him sprinting really fast past Zay Jones. Well, Zay Jones went first on this route, and then Zay Jones looked average. I think Zay Jones wasn't in full sprint, but either way, when you see the contrast of how Zay Jones ran, how Ridley ran, it was like Ridley looked like the Flash out there. So ever since that video, his kind of ADP shot up, and that's one thing I don't like. It's like everybody kind of jumps on that current trend or the recency bias of and that's why he's ranked so low, because he didn't play last year. So because of that and because of Trevor Lawrence, I agree with you. I absolutely love him this year. And I don't think we have any arguments on any of these players, any of these six guys. So that's kind of good. was hoping for a debate. I'll have to bring Connor up. Remember, have you ever seen Connor that can sheep the sheep yet, or no? I'm not going to
No,
bring him up for this show.
I have not, but hey, if we want to get spicy, I do have some takes at the end I can throw at you and see what you think.
Connor is the sheep. He's a Concheapsis. He's a sheep that comes on the show, and he basically does what everyone else does. But we're not going to bring him on the show because we don't want to scare you away on your first visit.
I
Gwen
appreciate
is
that.
very Yeah, people are, Gwen's afraid of him. Tim hates him, and yeah, he's actually a puppet. Some people say he's a puppet. I think he's actually a real livestock. All right, let's move on to a wide receiver that I love here. Again, recency biased, right? The guy I'm talking about is Quentin Johnston. Because he's a rookie, no one's buying into him. The reason there's so many reasons I like him. First of all, he's a first round pick. Second of all, he's a big wide receiver. He looks really good. If you saw some tape with him and Herbert as of late, Herbert threw more than anybody else in the league last year. He was second in passing attempts, and his wide receiver core was banged up. Keenan Allen's 31. Mike Williams can't stay healthy to save his life. So I love Quentin Johnston. There's an opportunity for him to really shine as the one. And he's coming off round 7 and 9. People are drafting Keenan Allen in round 3. Absolutely ludicrous. Again, I'm of the mindset that they're washed. They're done. Like, the way I look at it is this. People are drafting Quentin Johnston 7, but it would be kind of like drafting this. The way I look at it is like Adam Thielen ahead of Jefferson last year. You wouldn't do it. So why are you drafting Keenan Allen ahead of Quentin Johnston? That's the way I'm looking at it. Again, to me, it doesn't make sense. But again, the Concheapsis are doing what consensus Concheapsis do, copy and pasting based on last year. I love Quentin Johnston. I think you had him on your show, did you not, on your podcast?
Yeah, that's right. QJ, baby. I did. So he was great. We actually chatted right before the NFL draft. So we talked about
Yeah.
his whole TCU career, and he's just a humble guy. And he seems like he's locked in from our conversation. He was just focused on training and getting better for the draft. So he didn't know he was going to land with the Chargers yet, but I think he's very happy that Justin Herbert is his quarterback and he's in that offense. And yeah, I think as a person, he's fantastic. But to your points, I agree. Like, I think Keenan Allen's getting up there. I don't know why, I've just never loved Mike Williams as like the big fantasy
Yeah.
guy. I know he does well and his touchdowns, all that, but like, I do think those guys are getting up there in age, but also the NFL, like, I don't think they see it that way. So they're going to be keyed on those guys, and Quentin's going to have some matchups that are favorable to him. So again, I don't have any arguments here with this pick, and I like the value here with QJ.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Williams, his touchdowns, yeah, they look good, but that's the thing. Because they look good, they make the highlight reels, but they're like so few and far between. It's not something that I get excited about too much, like staying consistent with them anyway. So, yeah, Quentin Johnston's my guy. All right, your second wide receiver that you absolutely love, cannot live without must draft wide receiver for you.
Another value pick here for me, a little bit of like probably 4th round, 5th round, but Chris Olave down in New Orleans with the Saints. He was a rookie last year, had 1,000 yards in his first season, and he barely had a quarterback. So this year, Derek Carr is down in the Bayou, and I think he's going to be pretty pumped about that. So I love Chris Olave again here. I think he easily breaks 1,000 yards. He's a great PPR option. If anything scares me a little bit, it's the touchdown generation. I think he only had 4 last year, so he's not the biggest red zone target. But in PPR league, I do love Chris Olave.
But you had Andy Dalton throwing the ball, so you can't really say much there.
Exactly.
So the fact that he performed over 1,000 yards rookie season, and then you got this huge upgrade. Now there is talk about, like I said, I've talked about my other show when I talked about Olave. Michael Thomas, years to wow us, we're not wowed, absolutely sucks as of late. He's got a chip on his shoulder, but I'm still not really concerned. Olave is going to be the guy. I'm not really concerned about him. And you said 4th round. It depends on which league. He's typically coming off round 3 on average, 12-person redraft league. So relatively expensive, but you're still getting a wide receiver one who's got that top 5, believe it or not, upside in fantasy points. I absolutely love myself some Chris Olave this year.
I love it.
All right, let's move on here to another guy that I love. I'm wearing the hat. It's not just because of Bijan, Jan, I call him, but a guy that I absolutely love at the wide receiver position is Drake London. Now, Drake London last year had himself a decent year. Obviously, quarterback was an issue. Now he's got himself a quarterback that he built a little bit of rapport with at the end of last season. What are you thinking on Desmond Ridder, though? Have you done any studying on Desmond Ridder, how he looks? He was a 3rd-round pick. I mean, it's kind of like nobody really knows, do they?
No, I think he's not going to make a ton of mistakes. I don't have the best answer or analysis on Desmond Ridder. I think he's a pretty even keel quarterback, though. I don't think he's going to wow anybody with his arm talent. But I think he'll make the right throws. I don't think he's going to make a bunch of mistakes. So I don't think it hurts him too much. It it doesn't make me very excited about the Falcons offense. So that's for sure.
Yeah, listen, the thing is, it's a clear-cut path to wide receiver one. That's why I love myself some Drake London. Great value, 5th round, getting a wide receiver one. Desmond Ridder, if that's the knocks to him, there's a lot of knocks to a lot of people because I don't know if you know this, Dan. You probably, I don't know if you've been studying as much as me, but I've looked at the
No.
scenario. A lot of question marks, though. Well, you know this because you know all the rookie quarterbacks, but you got CJ Stroud, you got Anthony Richardson, you got all these guys coming in. So everybody that's going to be receiving balls from these guys is in question.
Yeah.
At least there's some sort of rapport built with Ridder and Drake London. They've had, more time to work together. So that's why I feel a little more warm and fuzzy with Drake London. I think he's great talent as well. Drafted with very high draft capital. Kyle Pitts is there. Now they got Bijan, who's going to distract the defenses a little bit, maybe bring the defenses up. Possible stack boxes, who knows? But it's going to open things up for Drake London, where they got a solid running game as well to threaten the defenses. So I'm excited, man. I've got him in my leagues. I'm ready to go. Big season, big red zone guy. So we'll see how it plays out.
But I know this is a wide receiver podcast, but I've been watching you and I've been following, and you are all over Bijan Robinson. And so just like give me the 30-second pitch on Bijan and why not the other guys? Because I want to be convinced myself.
The biggest problem is if you draft a player based on last year, he's most likely going to fail. CMC coming off this pinnacle year where he was off 2 years injured. So everyone going CMC just as like a knee-jerk reflex copy and paste reaction. I'm not sold on that. Then you got Austin Eckler. It's just based on the other options, right? Like I'm not sold. A lot of them are going to decline. We got Saquon Barkley, had a pinnacle year. Josh Jacobs, I'm not really sold on him. Derrick Henry, is it his last hurrah? He's kind of old. I'm looking at youth. I'm looking at talent. I'm looking at upside. I'm looking at high draft capital by the Falcons. I'm looking at they ran the ball 500 times. There's so many reasons why I like Bijan. Again, a big part of it is youth. And you say, well, he's a rookie. That's fine. Adrian Peterson did well in his rookie year. Najee Harris did well in his rookie year. There's a ton of running backs that still do well in their rookie year. And I'm all over it. Again, you're looking at an amazing dynamic player who's going to be primed for at least 220 attempts, 10 touchdowns. So again, I could dive into more reasons, but that's pretty much the summary of it. Don't copy and paste.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
Are you
sold?
sold?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. All right. Okay. The next wide receiver you've got here, I'll just pull him up here. It's Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to spoil it for you. Is in a make or break situation. Okay. Yeah. So why do you love Jerry Jeudy?
I think it's the reason being is his new head coach, Sean Payton. I mean, he's coached some prolific offenses in his NFL career. He's back. He's fresh-minded. He's already making the news, chirping Nathaniel Hackett, which I love to see. I love that drama. But I like Jerry Jeudy here because I like Sean Payton. And I think he's going to find a way to have Russell Wilson feel more comfortable in the offense. I'm not a Russell Wilson believer, but I also don't think he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. So I think it's just suitable enough for Jerry Jeudy to have a good season. I know Tim Patrick I think he's out for the year with whatever injury he just had a few weeks ago. So, I mean, clearly Jeudy is the number one guy there. He's a superstar talent. And I think they do a much better job this season in year 2 with Russell Wilson of getting him the football. And Sean Payton will make sure the playmaker gets the football.
And he's great value. You get this guy round 5-ish. You're getting a wide receiver 1, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, bounce back. Everything's primed. Contract year. This is the year that Jerry Jeudy has to do it because he hasn't done it really on a high level his first, 3 years, right? So, I mean, this is it. Like, if he doesn't crush it this year, like absolutely dominate and crush it, his name is mush. And we just had him, I think, on the show. Not him physically, but we just mentioned him on a breakout or bust show. Like, this is it. He's got to get it done this year. And I'm leaning towards he does get it done. I don't think Russell Wilson fades off into the sunset everyone probably knocked him a lot for last year's performance. So no way but up for this entire offense. So Jerry Jeudy, a beneficiary of all these positive moves that the Broncos are making. All right. We got the final one here. Got to do a magical twinkle here. Sound effects. I know. I need a better sound effects. Yeah, because it's going to be a magical season, I think, for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson. You got to take a look at what Adams did with, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there's nothing else to say. There's no one else there at wide receiver that I think is going to be threatening to take away volume. Alan Lazard, years to wow, swear not wide. Had the opportunity last year. Lazard just didn't get it done. I mean, with Adams gone, there was like a bazillion targets freed up, and you still sucked. So, I mean, there's nothing else to say other than Garrett Wilson's the best talent there. He tweaked his ankle coming down. He should be back. I think it was like a high ankle sprain or something like that. It wasn't massive, but I think you should be good to go. Tons of ceiling, tons of upside. You get him second round in the draft. So if you go running back, Bijan, you could get yourself a Garrett Wilson, come back, get yourself like a Jameer Gibbs, and then get Dameon Pierce. You got your 3 running backs. You got your 1 ace wide receiver, your first 4 picks, solidified with an ace wide receiver in the mix. So I love him. Love the upside. What do you think of Garrett the Carrot Wilson here?
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. I love Aaron Rodgers in that system. I think he's brought a lot of energy, and he's already spoken really, really highly of Garrett Wilson. So that's always a good sign. I mean, like, he feels comfortable with him. You can already tell, and he's going to get him the football. I love overreacting to training camp clips myself, and seeing that one of him in the back of the end zone, that first week of training camp it was awesome. And like, yeah, it's an overreaction, but I think we're going to see a lot of that this season. So it's a great pick. As a Patriots fan, I hate it, but I think the Jets are going to have a great, great season.
Here's that clip here, guys. If you haven't seen it, right there, let's watch it again here. This is amazing.
Yeah, I love the celebration, love the energy. Just look at that. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be getting this guy the football.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You're going to look at least 150 targets on the season. I mean, I would think 150 targets, barring any type of injury, right? So,
right.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about all these wide receivers. I'm excited about fantasy football. At this point, like, I'm just sick of talking about fantasy football. I just want to get to the football season. Like, it just you reach that point. And what's crazy, tell me if you feel the same way. When the season starts, you're like, okay, well, it takes so long for the season to come, and it's there. And the next thing you know, you blink, you open your eyes, it's like week 7. I'm like, what just happened? How are we in like week 7? It's crazy.
Definitely feel the same way. But football is back. We got to embrace it. I had a blast watching the Hall of Fame game the other night. And it's the greatest thing in America, in the world. I love football, and it just juices me up. So I cannot wait to get this started, get my leagues going, start reactivating those. And I'm a commissioner of a few of them, so I'm excited to dive into that.
All right, guys. So make sure you guys follow morning_blitz right on Instagram, morning_blitz.
Yep. Follow the Blitz on Instagram, subscribe to our newsletter, check out our YouTube channel, our podcast. You'll love it all.
And how do you subscribe to the YouTube channel? Just go to your Instagram. There's a link, and you just put in your email, and then you're automatically entered to the subscription. How does it work?
Yeah. So for YouTube, our YouTube channel is linked in our bio. But for our daily newsletter, just go to the link in our bio, torchpro.com. Throw our email in. It's free. It's easy. You'll love it. It's a quick read. You can read it every day and get everything you need to know about the world of sports in 5 minutes or less.
People like free stuff. It's great. I like
free stuff. For me. Free is for me.
All right. Thanks, Danny, for coming on. Those are some fantasy football wide receivers you must draft and that we love with all of our hearts. That's why I wore a red hat, to represent the love for these wide receivers in Drake London. All right.
I love it.
Thanks, Danny. We appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me on, brother. Let's do it again soon.